Game. Blouses.
Okay, what's up, everybody? Here we go. We're ready. It is pre-tip-off. We got less than a week until some NBA action in the 23-24 season, and I am going to give you some way too early predictions. Here is what I think this season is going to look like. Now, normally I'm wrong with this. I am by no means someone who has ever said that they know more about this. These are just straight-up guesses, and a lot of them are easy answers. Some of them are, favoritism. Some of them are instinct, but we'll see what happens. So if there's a guy that you think I left out that needs to be a part of the discussion, or a team that you think needs to be a part of this discussion, please let us know in the comments, and I will. I'll tell you what I think. You're probably right. You're probably more right than me. So we'll see. All right, here we go. Way too early predictions for this season. My MVP, I'm going Giannis. The addition of Dame, the extra motivation to bring him a ring. They're healthy again. Obviously, the loss of Drew Holiday is a huge hit to them, but I think that Bobby Portis also, as we'll talk about in a second, I think he is he's high odds for Sixth Man of the Year. Not my pick, but it could be up there. So yeah, I'm going Giannis MVP. Rookie of the Year, I'm going Scoot. I think Victor might be getting hurt based on what we've seen with body types like this in the past. Obviously, the most recent example of this is Chet Holmgren last summer. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen. I want to see Victor succeed, obviously, but I'm just going by my gut here. I think Portland is, they got a lot of guys that like to hustle on that team. Brand new feel, brand new energy in that locker room. So I'm going Scoot. He's got an NBA ready body. He's ready to compete. He's probably going to start, and he's going to get a lot of minutes for Portland. So I'm excited for that. Sixth Man of the Year, this is going to be a little dicey because I have two guesses, but if this guy doesn't start, which he may not, I think Derek White for Boston could potentially be the easy pick for Sixth Man of the Year if he does not start. If they go Drew Holiday, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Horford, and Porzingis alternating the 4 and 5, he'll come off the bench. However, if they decide to play Porzingis at the 5, bring Horford off the bench, that would mean that everybody moves down a slot from Jaylen Brown all the way down. So I think that if he does start, obviously he's out of the question for Sixth Man of the Year, but if that's a guy that they consistently want to bring off the bench, I think that he's got it in the bag. But my other answer for this, which I think is maybe a little bit more realistic because I know he's not going to be in the starting lineup for a good majority of the season, is Rui Hachimura for the Lakers. I like this kid a lot. I think he's been slept on as an athlete and a versatile defender and just an overall player and a guy that is just going to go out there and give you everything he's got. He's a great kid. He's super lengthy, very versatile, very athletic, as I said. And I think the Lakers have a lot of things to be excited about this year. So I'm really, really pumped about that. So, all right. Defensive Player of the Year, I got a few guys on this list. I know I'm cheating by giving you more than one, but I'll give you my none of these guys are big dudes who are shot blockers. So, that's where it's a little bit surprising, but my Defensive Player of the Year, my 3 picks are OG Anunoby. He's my number 1 guy. I think that this is a guy that you're always going to be thinking about. He's always a guy you have to prepare for in matchups and offensive schemes, and trying to get him off of your best athlete on the wing. Or he's very versatile in the post as well. But he's going to get steals. He's going to lock you down, and he just works so hard out there every time. Great corner 3 guy as well. So I'm going OG for Defensive Player of the Year as my first pick. My second pick for that, just because I love this guy so much, is Drew Holiday. I love what he does. I love his energy. I love his defensive ability. Highly regarded as one of the most difficult people to play against from all types of NBA players of all different shapes and sizes and skill positions and places that they play on the floor. He's always a problem no matter where he's at. And then a homer pick for me, which I think would be really cool, but obviously it probably won't happen, is Jalen Suggs. Hey, maybe he takes a leap. Maybe he's actually going to play the minutes that we thought he was going to play in his rookie year and his sophomore year, and now year 3 is where he's at. It's fully grown. He's a man now. He's ready. He's got experience in this locker room. He's gonna start because the Magic don't like to start shooters. it's a whole thing. We don't know. I would love for this to be the case. I just threw him in for an honorable mention because I thought it would be fun, but it's highly unlikely. Okay, most improved player. Now, the highest odds for the most improved player, obviously, you got Mikal Bridges up at the top, which I think is an easy answer. He's not my answer, but definitely a guy to be excited about if you are a Nets fan. And then we have Jalen Williams also up there, Tyus Jones, and Tyrese Maxey, which are up there in terms of the overall Vegas odds of most improved player. Now, I'm going to go Shaedon Sharpe, another Trailblazer. I think that now with the departure of Dame, bringing in Malcolm Brogdon, another guy who can distribute the ball. They have veteran leadership still there. Jeremy Grant is still there. Anthony Simons has been in that system a long time. He's very familiar with the organization. I think that Shaedon Sharpe and Scoot, too, I think both of those guys are going to flourish this year under this new look Trailblazers. So obviously you got a whole different team here. Shaedon Sharpe, though, he's an undeniable world-class athlete. This guy, I mean, that putback slam from last year says all you need to know about him. And the guy can jump out of the gym. He can attack. He's slashy. He's very physical. And I think most improved is going to Shaedon Sharpe this year. So hopefully I'm right on that. Here are my bubble teams. Indianapolis. I think the Pacers are a sneaky good team. I think they got a good, well-rounded situation from 1 to 5. Chicago. I think Chicago is one of those teams that looks great on paper every time you play them, but the questions are always: is Nick Vucevic going to play defense at any point in time this season? Is DeMar DeRozan going to show up in the spring? Is Zach LaVine going to shoot himself out of all these games? Is Lonzo Ball going to play? A lot of these are big questions that we don't know. Is Andre Drummond going to be Andre Drummond in Detroit, or is he going to be somebody who looks like he's playing, intoxicated out there? We don't know. So that's my my second bubble team. My third bubble team is Toronto. I don't think they're good enough to get into that 6-1 seeding in the East, obviously, but I don't think they're bad enough to fall out. I think anytime you have guys like Pascal and Scotty Barnes and OG, I think you're looking pretty good. Obviously, they lose Freddie Buckets. There's no more Lowry, no more DeRozan, and a lot of those guys that were the core pieces of their deep playoff runs are gone. But I still think the East is bad enough to where you could get above, at least a 10 seed. And then my fourth team, again, this is a homer pick, but I think all signs point to yes for this. I think the Magic are a bubble team this year. I think they make a jump. I think Paolo has a great sophomore season. I think if health follows us, we can make a case for even being a 7 or an 8 seed, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what the season's going to bring, but we're a young, scrappy, and we like to fight. I think this is going to be a surprisingly competitive team for some people. So there we go. There's the East bubble teams. In the West, I got the Clippers, OKC, Portland, and San Antonio. San Antonio is obviously all dependent on whether or not Victor is the guy that they say he's going to be. I think it'd be exciting if they did make this jump. Do I think they have enough? Realistically, no, but I'm picking them because I think that this could be something that it's something to keep an eye on for sure. All right. Yeah, I guess the same could be said about the Clippers, all dependent on what happens with the Stars. Are they going to trade for Harden? Are they going to give up too much? Are they going to blow it up? Are Russ and Paul George and Kawhi going to play all at the same time? Is Norman Powell going to be the guy that comes off the bench for them and is, somebody who can offer a little bit of assistance on there? Is Zubats going to be the same double-double machine that he was last year? We don't know. OKC, obviously, again, all dependent on injuries. Shea was out for an extended period of time last year. Chet Holmgren out for the whole year last year. That left him a little shallow in the scoring and athleticism department. But I think Josh Giddey is going to be a guy to look out for. Potentially another one of those guys that's in the discussion of most improved. So we'll see. And then Portland, obviously, new look. I'm a big fan of that roster still. I like Portland. I've always liked what they've had going on over there. I think with Malcolm Brogdon, Scoot, Shaedon Sharpe, Jeremy Grant, and DeAndre Ayton now in there. That's not a slouchy team. It's not a team that's going to roll over. Those guys are very competitive. They're good. And I know I'm leaving out a few of the guys that are on that team that are also going to, bring them to hopefully a bubble spot. So hopefully I'm right. But yeah, All right, moving on. Let's go Eastern Conference Finals. I think the easy answer here is obviously Boston, Milwaukee, but I'm not going to go there. I'm going to say that Boston is. I'm going to say that Boston doesn't perform the way that we want them to perform in the playoffs, as we've seen in the past. This is a new system. It's very difficult for them to figure out with these new guys implemented into their rosters and their systems and everything. And I do think they're going to be all right, but I'm predicting another disappointment in Boston this year. Unfortunately, sorry about that, but I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to say something crazy because I think that Evan Mobley is going to have a hell of a year, and I think he's going to be difficult for a lot of teams to guard, especially with the athleticism they have on the perimeter as well. But I'm going to go Milwaukee and Cleveland in the Eastern Conference Finals. Another thing you got to remember about Cleveland is that they added a lot of shooting in the offseason. They added Strus, paid him a lot of money. Bye-bye Miami. And they also added Georges Niang from Philly. So, which, by the way, the most winningest player of the decade, which is insane. I saw that stat. I hope it's real because that's actually kind of funny. But yeah, I'm going Milwaukee, Cleveland for the Eastern Conference Finals, and Milwaukee taking that and going to the finals. Easy answer for the Western Conference. Again, it's obviously 1 and 2. That's the easiest answer is Denver and Phoenix. However, I think Denver losing Bruce Brown, I think they're going to see a significant decline in how they're able to defend in the postseason. Although Jokic is he's a lot to handle. I think that maybe a team is going to surprise them. One of these two teams I'm about to mention, but Phoenix also is going to run into some issues, I believe. A lot of their schemes are going to be ISO related. It's going to be a lot of, it's going to be a lot of, hey, who wants to be the guy tonight? Much like it was in the beginning of the Miami run, where a lot of those guys were, kind of trading off good games. But who knows? Maybe they have something up their sleeve that we haven't seen yet. But I don't. I'll believe it when I see it. I think Phoenix is not going to do it. My answer for the Western Conference Finals is LA and Golden State, just because I want to see it again. I want to see another Steph and LeBron matchup. I want to see LeBron make one last run at this with this team. I like what the Lakers have added in the offseason. I think Gabe Vincent, Christian Wood, Jackson Hayes, and added some more shooting with Taurean Prince as well. So I think that is going to be something to look out for. Although, Golden State also, they're an interesting team now because with Chris Paul, one of those four guys, between Clay, Draymond, Steph, and Andrew Wiggins may have to come off the bench. And we know it's not going to be Steph, and it's probably not going to be Draymond. So it's either Clay or Wiggins that would be coming off the bench for Chris Paul, which are they going to do that? Absolutely not. So implementing a guy like Chris Paul off the bench is very interesting. He's very low in the 6th man of the year odds, but I don't think there's a way that you can remove Kevon Looney from that lineup and still succeed in the way that they did last year in the playoffs, because he was a big part of that run. He was an anchor down there. I mean, 2020 games, he was going bananas. So just something to look out for. I have the Lakers winning that series, going against Milwaukee in the finals, and then I have Milwaukee taking the championship this year. I think Giannis is extra motivated to get that ring for Dame. He's revitalized, and this season will not be a failure. That's an easy pick for me. However, it all depends on health. They are a team that's been plagued by injuries before, and it could potentially happen again. So a lot of this is up in the air. Again, these are way too early predictions, and we'll see what happens. But if I get one of these right, I'll be super pleased. The last year I got 0 correct, so we'll see what happens. Those are my selections. Let me know if you think I missed somebody, or you think I'm totally wrong, or if you agree. That would be nice too. Although if you agree with me, then we'd both be wrong. So. Yeah, thank you guys again for watching. We're working out the kinks with this new channel and new setup, new system, new equipment, and everything like that. But thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll be back with some more prediction rundowns pretty soon. We'll see how they're looking trajectory wise throughout the year. But good luck. Set those lineups, and we'll see you. We'll see you next time. Game Blouses. Bye.
Gang. Blouses.